Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Sunday the 4th of December 2022. Thanks for joining me. I want to use the Cosmic Tarot today and I want to see what the cards have to say about Sunday the 4th. So I'm just going to shuffle the cards a few times and choose three to see what's going on. Let's have a look. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. And let's see. First card is Death. The Wheel of Fortune, and the Moon. Oh, wow. So we've got three major arcana cards, and that's significant in itself because the major arcanas talk about big life themes, fundamental topics that we can all kind of tap into and we tap out of at certain points. So death is a card that doesn't usually talk about physical death. And on this day, I don't think it talks about physical death either. It's the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. And that's amplified by the Wheel of Fortune being next to it, because this is all about making a choice which comes from within. You get to choose the direction. So something ends. It creates space in your life to dream and to look at your future and to say, what direction do I actually want to go in? And because the Moon card often represents fear, it's very likely that either you have some sort of epiphany, or you have a dream, or you have some sort of light bulb go off that says, hey, in fact, in future, I would really like to do A, B, or C. So it can be as varied as the astrological symbols here on this wheel. So for some people, it'll be like, I want to start my own business. Someone else may say, it's important for me to create a certain amount of money. How am I going to do that? I want to write a book, or I want to teach what I've experienced. The focus is possibly relationships and home life. I want to feel like I belong somewhere. Some people may want to be famous. Some will desire order more than anything else. Relationships, emotional awareness, travel, moving countries, work. So it can be as many things as there are people, but the thing is that it's going to be either one or two topics specifically. I personally feel it's one topic that's going to be highlighted to you, because a space needed to be created via the Death card for you to be able to look to your future and say, this is now important to me. So if the need for space was required, then I don't think that you're suddenly looking at 5 different options, because a little space has been created where one real life purpose or desire can now appear. It can take its place in that vacuum. And the likelihood is that this is a dream or an idea that you're immediately passionate about, but at the same time, it will bring up a lot of fear because you do care about this potential plan. It's important to you. So usually what happens is that if something's important to us, we're afraid of failure or not being able to achieve what we set out to do. So what I'm saying with that is, if you have a new idea and it kind of scares you a little bit, then that's normal. And actually, it's a sign that this is an idea, a plan worth pursuing, because if you do feel a little bit of nerves around it or anxiety, it kind of says that you're on the right track. So that's not the most comfortable space to be in, but it certainly is worth looking at and worth pursuing, because the outcome is life-changing and in a positive way. This is the Wheel of Fortune. It's not the Wheel of Misfortune, is it? Okay, so the Death card is a card that says there's some force in this universe which operates outside of us, which determines when we live and when we die, and really there's no arguing with it. So the card is often very much about acceptance. It's very much about aligning yourself with that energy rather than arguing with it and saying, this has gone, I'm going to try and accept that. So, Helen Kubler-Ross, the grieving process, there are different steps on that, because it's not an easy process to accept that something has been taken from us or something has been lost. But, and I'm reluctant to say this, but because it is so difficult, but the end stage, I suppose, of the acceptance is what's the saying? Acceptance is the solution to all of your problems, because you can't really argue with this. It doesn't really care about your ideas or your objections or anything like that. So with this, I would imagine that something does come to an end. And the cards are saying, please do try and look at that from a perspective of, okay, I will accept this. This isn't the worst thing in the world. Because, again, another cliche, I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening to me. when one door closes, another opens. And this spread is saying that the door that opens is much better than the one that's closed. So the Wheel of Fortune then, 10th card in the Major Arcana, so it's smack in the middle, pretty much. And it's a moment when you realize in life that actually, if I'm going to manifest something, or if I want my life to look a certain way, I have a lot of say in that. You see the sun at the center? Your identity, your personality is the sun at the center of this amazing, beautiful flower. So it's saying that self-will and what you want is actually really, really important, because it will guide you in the direction you want to go. And no one can tell you that. You know, when I said all the different things that you could be interested in or dream about, for you, getting involved in studying the sewage system of Paris may be the most interesting thing to you ever. Another person may just want to be in a relationship with someone. So it's super important that we actually know what our insides want for us, because it's a pink, beautiful flower. Yeah. So it's really creating the life you want. If you want it to be sweet and beautiful, the spread today is saying that you're on the right track. Just don't fight against the things that are outside of your control, if possible. And for me, it's interesting saying this because my brother died in October, and I've even started seeing a grief counselor, and it's just like, I certainly understand that it's not just, okay, snap your fingers, we accept it. It's not like that. So I'm aware of the reality while I'm saying these things. I don't think that this is physical death. I think it's about you personally, because the Wheel of Fortune is your identity. So it's something in your life that concludes a practical circumstance in one of these areas. Finally, the Moon. The Moon is the 18th card in the Major Arcana. And the Moon is a card that talks about perspective. So let's say you're walking around in the middle of the night and you see these fish in the moon, yikes, and then this giant lobster comes and chases you. It's pretty scary. And the card says that it's because of the light that things seem so scary. If you do the same thing in the middle of the day, then the lobster isn't going to look threatening whatsoever. And then if, let's say you saw this, I don't know, you wouldn't see it in the sun because you can't stare at the sun. But then if you saw this symbol here, it wouldn't be, oh my God, these frightening fish are like, oh my God, what's happening? It's much more about then the family unit and looking at what's important to you and what makes you feel good and what's home. So the thing about the Moon is always listen to your intuition. That's the solution to the fear. So if you do have to walk around in the middle of the night, or your life feels like you're walking around in the middle of the night, in the dark, you don't know what's going on, then please tap into your intuition. That's your inner compass that will guide you and will allow you to look at these things and not be frightened. So exchanging fear for this inner certainty and belief in yourself. And also the Moon in itself indicates that your intuition is heightened. So it's perfect with this card because it's easy for you to determine what's important to you. Remember, the Moon is your heart, the Sun is your head. So they're together, working together. So it's really easy for you to make a decision because you're totally at one with yourself. You're not working against yourself. And then actually by the end of the day, I think you'll be quite pleased that something came to an end and that you have an opportunity to pursue this new, amazing, wonderful direction in your life. I just don't think it's going to be a boring day or a very a comfortable day, because there's a lot going on emotionally and you're dreaming about your future. and it's important. It's not just a fantasy, it's a dream that can become real. Number-wise, we've got 13 and 10, that's 23. 23 and 18, 41. Let me do it this way. 18 and 10 is 28, and 13 is 31, 41. Yeah. 4 and 1 is 5, and 5 in numerology is about freedom. So actually, this isn't a loss that you need to mourn whatsoever. It's actually a celebration because you're being freed from something which you thought worked for you, but actually was barren, like empty, like a void. And you're able to replace it with something that truly is meaningful and that's going to enrich your life, not just the appearance of enriching your life. Okay, so I feel it's a really important day. If you've been thinking about making any kind of changes in any of these areas, this is your day to dream about the future and to get concrete information that you can then use to move in a different direction. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on Book Your Reading to audio reading with me. I use astrology, the tarot, and numerology in my personal readings. So if you have any questions about any of these areas, please do get in touch. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and share the video online. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.